Greetings! This here is my fourth or fifth watercolor I ever did, and for the sake of this video I decided to reimagine it digitally. I do hope you enjoy. Also, I'm just getting over the Rona, so apologies if it sounds like I have chlamydia of the throat this video. Let's get right into things. Particularly over the last year, I've noticed a lot of regular, otherwise reasonable people shaming others for not voting, for not watching the news, etc. I've been political for most of my life, but over the past few years I've come to see politics for what they truly are. A waste of my time. And they might be a waste of yours, too. I've come to recognize politics to be the opiate of the nihilists. I've also come to recognize the cyclical nature of reality, and I've seen how societies achieve something good, take it for granted after a generation or two, and cast it aside. Man is ever in a state of flux. No system is eternal. I know full well the US has been on its way out for a while. The parallels between here and ancient Rome are clear. We've been on a death spiral since the mid-1800s, but the Founding Fathers spelled our doom by not even being consistent with their own standards. The Shays and Whiskey rebellions were fully in accordance with the founding ethos, and ended with those same founders stabbing them in the back. But I digress. I've come to recognize that laws and policies don't change the course of humanity. It's values, human spirit. There's a reason we don't have open slavery anymore. There was a mass shift in values across the world for an extended period of time. Were there changes in legislation? Sure, but those were a result of the paradigm shift. I'm a strong believer in living in accordance with nature, or the Tao, and I think humanity is no more exempt from destiny than I am. Everything is based on a first cause, and every person acts based on the will they were born with and the environment that shapes them. We can discuss free will another time, my point being that humanity needs to touch the stove a few times in order to learn. Struggle and cry as we may, the overarching societal organism will do however it damned well pleases. Whatever will be as it's meant to be. If we nuke ourselves into oblivion, as far as I'm concerned, that's natural selection. Nature reclaiming what's rightfully hers, evil destroying itself, as Tolkien conveyed. If we destroy the environment, we kill ourselves and thus experience the true, natural justice of nature. We humans are not the be-all end-all. All things have an expiration date. The vast cosmos, of which our world doesn't even register on the scale of, ends. The universe, the sun, earth, humanity, our nations, you and I, nothing is eternal. We build up these efforts towards utopia based on flawed systems, ignoring the fact we need hardship to live optimally. I don't care about what material advancements humanity makes. I care about the character of the last humans. That will be the true measure of humanity's worth. Are the last the wealthiest desperately holding on to their own skins? Or are they families and neighbors, huddled together embracing their final moments? I care about what I can do today to influence those last humans in a positive way, however small. Our societies aren't evolving to material ends. Societies are organisms like you or I. Sometimes they get too bloated to be sustainable, or they rot their brains in front of screens too much. But societies and individuals alike must address the same concern. What kind of person or society do you want to die as? How do you want to be remembered? Virtue is of utmost importance. And I don't see this current system as virtuous, let alone as a vehicle in which virtue can be nurtured. We humans pride ourselves on the silliest and shakiest of foundations, when if we simplified our lives, focused on our little corner of the world, and focused on cultivating our character, we would be in much healthier, natural, truly productive states of mind. You think by angrily masturbating your emotions in the general direction of a commenter under a political video about a topic you have absolutely no control over, you're actually changing anything? You're only shortening your lifespan, killing your quality of life. You think by voting you're contributing to the future of humanity? That's not even you voting. That's whatever biased media you watch, filtered through whatever information they've been allowed or fed by the powers that be, who act based on interests you will never truly be privy to. Your vote is directly influenced by whatever power-hungry bastards are at the top in media and government. There are smaller influencers as well, but what do they truly know about the vast ocean of prideful dick measuring they're in the middle of? Ultimately, it's fun, because these things are not sustainable. The house with a rotten foundation must collapse. I only hope to be living a hobbit's life in the woods when that happens. You want to change the world? Demonizing your neighbor is holding back your cause. Be the example that people want to emulate. Live virtuously. When was the last time someone changed your mind by antagonizing you? Does it happen often? Now, when was the last time your mind was changed because you actually respected the person you disagreed with? Humanity may one day learn to overcome its toxic cycles, but it still must go through the motions. Do I have political opinions? Sure. My ideal society would be ditching the vast majority of modern technology and allowing people to live in self-governing tribes and villages if they want to, but that's almost certainly never going to happen in my lifetime. Humanity must run its life cycle however it needs to, and learn its lessons in due time. Why would I try forcing nature? The powers that be don't listen to people like me. Man must learn on its own that big government and big cities kill its soul. We humans always gotta touch the stove, just like with nukes. We'll see how that plays out. Either the tyrants at the top will phase them out and prove humans are worthy of survival, or we'll nuke ourselves and prove we weren't worthy of being on this world. I also believe at the end of the day a law is a threat. By voting, I am putting effort towards some poor bastard being threatened against their will in a world that already has too many laws. Not like the cop is going to give up arresting you if you resist long enough. Politics attract those who believe they have authority over who lives and who dies, who thrives and who survives. Don't trust any of them, because this means at the core of every shaker and mover in government, they believe they have a right to your life. There are no honest politicians. They all play twisted games to get to where they're at. Again, they believe they have a right to your life. I prefer to keep my hands clean, particularly when it comes to people I've never met. And look, I think there's a perfectly valid case to be made for getting involved in local politics. That is a part of your corner of the world. And if you're already in public office or something, please, by all means, stay there. That's where you're meant to be right now, unless this video somehow struck a deep chord with you and you want out. I suppose I could be convinced to vote for issues that directly affect my lifestyle, since those are the things I truly know, but I really feel like the world's just gotta do its thing. Now, I can already hear some of you out there. What about totalitarian dictators? What about your future children? Well, you know what's better than vainly trying to keep the hard times for my children? Teaching my children to thrive in the hard times. If the sheep want a dictator, they'll get one with or without our input. But freedom is a state of mind. First tattoo I ever got is on my forearm and says Yani Rab Zakona. I am not a slave of the law. It had more political connotations when I first got it, but it's taken on a new life over time. To illustrate, if the Orthodox Christians could find fulfillment in the gulags even as they were tortured, sliced, gutted, burned alive, fed their own shit, and still chose to love their captors, I'd say my children and I can bear whatever the next regime brings. And so can you. Stop running from hardship. It's why AI is where it's at, why we have the governments we have, and why we are mentally sick as we are. There is no political war. The only war is spiritual. I advocate for focusing on our little corner of the world above all else. Cultivate good relations with your friends, family, and neighbors. You know, things politics love to get in the way of, things that actually matter. Focus on living a healthy life in alignment with your values, and live those values in a way that other people will want to join in on. To quote Bruce Almighty, you want to see a miracle, you gotta be the miracle. Screw what's going on across the ocean. There's so many people, plants, and animals in your area that demand your attention far more than some politician's ego. To my fellow brothers and sisters who don't care about politics, and who have been targeted for their apathy concerning whichever Messiah or Antichrist might be in office on any given day, I see you, I hear you, I am one of you, and you are valid. And anyone who says otherwise is a good-for-nothing commie. And who knows where we'll be in the next 20 years. Trump will probably be good for the economy, but he'll be a band-aid on a laceration. And who knows what the social order will be like with these non-stop cycles of corrupt governments or the rise in mysticism. Christians are getting more into tarot these days, guys. And people who don't subscribe to any religion are getting more into spiritual practices like traditional yoga. People are flocking to Eastern Orthodoxy. Psychedelics are becoming accepted. This has massive implications for the next few decades, especially since there's a new literary renaissance on the horizon. Subscribe to Right Conscious on YouTube, which I intend to contribute to. And people are rebelling harder than ever against new technology, and who knows what mark AI will leave on our society. This is gonna be a wild ride, guys. We're witnessing history. And that's another reason why it's probably best for me to refrain from getting involved in politics, and a reason I wish more people would too. I know I'm a sucker for a good story. Narratives are a powerful thing, and I know I can be gullible. So I leave politics largely for the shakers and movers, the economists, and the tyrants. It's their game after all, so I'll leave them to it. To summarize this mass of words, all things end. These political struggles are not building to anything meaningful or worthwhile. I do not wish to dirty my hands with this already corrupt system, and I choose to focus on my personal sphere of influence. True change starts with the individual, and whoever is inspired to take after them. The powers that be can reap what they sow for all I care, for evil is self-correcting. The hand of God moves with or without us. That's all I have for today. Be sure to smash that dislike button and leave your cruelest comment down below. Farewell.